Hey everyone, so a bit of an update. Last episode we installed the 01 fuel tank in this 1993 Subaru Impreza. So now today we're going to try starting it. We've got everything all hooked up, the starter, leads, and all the battery stuff's all hooked up, as well as some other various wiring as well. We are having a bit of a problem though with the fuel pump. When the car is off, the fuel pump is being primed, so the fuel pump is on. But when the car is turned on, the fuel pump turns off. So we'll have to find that out. But we're gonna see and try starting it right now. Let's see how it goes. So here is the fuel pump wire that was disconnected, and here it is in respect to the other parts in the interior. Yeah, so we just hooked that up. So some stuff that was disconnected was the main ground right here that goes to the negative side of the battery, as well as on the positive side we had the starter wire that was not hooked up either. So we had to hook that up, and pretty much that was about it, as well as hooking up the other part in the fuel pump. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be spraying some fuel into the intake manifold since we disconnected the fuel pump for now, and then hopefully it should start up. Attempt number 1. I'm going to spray some of the gas into the intake manifold. Okay, it should be good. Started. So I just sprayed enough, I believe just enough fuel for it to just start up for a little bit like that. So what we're gonna try to do is hook up the fuel pump since the engine's not getting a constant supply of fuel. Attempt number 2 with the fuel pump plugged in. Okay, should we get started? Yeah, so it is working. It's just that there's not enough fuel to power it constantly. So we have to try to find a constant supply of fuel for it. So in that last clip, we saw that the car did run for just a little bit. However, due to the fuel pump not providing a constant supply of fuel into the engine, that's why it's only able to run for just 2 or 3 seconds. So the problem is now we have to diagnose why the fuel pump isn't turning on when the car is on. Because what's happening is when the car is off, the fuel pump turns on. So we have to figure out why the fuel pump is turning off when the car is on. So that's what we have to find out now. So it's been some time and we've ended up having to do some work. What we did was we replaced the relay right here that controls the fuel pump, and in addition to we checked a bunch of wires in the engine bay to make sure that they're all hooked up. So before, what happened was when the car was in the off position, the fuel pump would turn on, but when it's in on position now, so one click, I don't know if you heard that on camera, but yeah, fuel pump is, at least it's on, sort of, when the car is on. So I'll show you guys what wires in the engine bay we had to reconnect, and let's see if we can try starting this thing. So on a 93 Impreza, all the relays are kind of like in the dash area. Like here's the steering wheel, gauge cluster. It's kind of right down there, that white wire that I'm pointing to. That's kind of where all the this is all where all the 3 relays are. One of them is fuel pump. One of them is I think like something to do with like the rear lights, but I'm not too sure. But at least we know that this one right here is the fuel pump one. One with the green housing. I'm not sure if that changes from year, but there is that. the fuel pump relay. So the wires that we had to plug in the engine bay were the O2 harness down here, and then the main engine wire right here. I thought it was the manual transmission harness, but no, it's actually the main harness right here. And yep, so just those two, O2 harness and the main engine, because what happened was the main engine was in, but it wasn't in all the way, so like it was just kind of loose. And then the O2 harness was completely disconnected. So once we connect these two, the car should run, and the fuel pump should turn on when the car is on. So after doing some research online, I found a forum that discussed of a 95 GC. So what happened was wires in his engine bay weren't connected all the way, and he was having similar issues where the fuel pump also wasn't turning on when the car was on. It was actually turning on when the car was off, just like ours. So if you guys have that problem where the fuel pump turns on when the car is off, I would double check and see if any of your wires are either disconnected, just kind of like loosely plugged in. So now we're just gonna try starting it with the little changes that we made. Alright, let's have number one, or I guess 1 plus however many you tried last time, but fuel pump on. That's crazy. No way, guys. Car just started at 7:37 p.m. on October 8th, 2022. Hasn't ran since 2009, so that's quite some time since this thing was up and running. But let's hear some revs real quick. Crazy, you got it running. It runs, oh my gosh, man. Rally car runs, guys. Check this out. It's burning some oil or something. Kind of smells like rubber though, so check that out. Looks like a gasket. It's coming somewhere from the head in there. Woo! Guys, I'm so excited that this thing finally runs. It's been a really fun learning experience for both me and Paolo, and we can't be grateful enough for this opportunity that was given to us. We'd like to thank my dad, my grandpa, Christian, for helping me take off the rear fuel tank, dropping the rear subframe and putting it back together again, and Kevin from Uber Sport, who supplied us with the rear tank and fuel pump. And huge thank you to Bristol and Scott, the gravel crew, for supplying us with this car, and it's just been really fun to get this thing up and running again. So this thing hasn't ran since 09, so there are some other things that it does need, such as brakes and maybe suspension, but at least it does run, and that's just a huge goal for us. I'm so excited. I wish Paolo were here to see it, but yeah, there's more things in store for this car, so stay tuned, guys.